Okay, everybody, it's time for another Candlelight Tales, and tonight I'm going to tell you about the man in the woods. When I was a kid growing up, the shortcut to school was through the woods. For me, it just made it very quick. So I would go through the woods, I would go onto the playground, and I would go to school. One day, one of the kids from school saw me doing it, and he said, "You shouldn't do that." And I said, "Well, I live on the other side of the woods." And he said, "Well, don't you know about the man in the woods?" And I said, "What man in the woods?" I had never heard of that. And he said, "Well, there's a man, like, it's a hermit, and he had like a drinking wife and really loud kids, and he wanted to get away, so he built a shack out in the woods, and he lived there. But he missed having a family, so he would steal children, but only quiet children. So if you're noisy going through the woods, he won't take you." So every time I would go through the woods, I would whistle or sing or make, like la 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 sounds or whatever. And I did that for a couple of years until finally I just decided, you know what, I'm going to cut through the subdivision instead and take the long way home. So I didn't really think about it again until I was in 9th grade and I had missed the bus and I had to walk home. And my high school was further away. It was probably like 4 or 5 miles away. And between the school and me was woods. But it was a part of the woods I had never been in, that I hadn't explored. But I knew generally where my house was, so I just walked right into the woods, kept myself pointed in the right direction, followed the little path that the animals had created, and I just went right towards my home. But I was probably about, 500 yards or so into the woods when I heard somebody walking, not on the path though, but paralleling me outside of the path in the woods. And I stopped and he stopped. And then I started walking and he started walking. And I realized, oh my God, there's somebody following me here. I need to get out of here because, I'm completely defenseless. So I just took off and ran. I went off the path, I went through the woods, and I just stopped and got my breath after a while. And I realized he wasn't there anymore, so I was safe. Except I was really turned around. I had absolutely no clue where my house was. So I just decided I'm just going to start walking until I recognize something. So I started walking and I tripped over a brick. And I looked down at the ground and there was all this debris, like bricks and wood, and it looked like something had been built there but had been taken apart. And there was a bunch of trash. So I started going through this trash because I'm thinking, I've never heard of anything being in these woods. I didn't know about this. I want to know. And I'm very curious by nature. So I started going through all the debris and I found like kids' trucks and a doll head and cups and some kid jewelry, like tiny rings and stuff. And then I saw a book, and it was a book that I loved when I was in elementary school. When I was real little in elementary school, it was like maybe 1st to 3rd grade, like around that age. And I used to check it out all the time at the library. So I opened it up, and inside there's like a little pocket with a card for stamping who checked the book out. And I pulled the card out, and it was like, rain had like worn it away and stuff, but I saw my last name on this card. And I knew it was the only book that school had, my elementary school. So there's like these kids' toys, there's this book from my school, my name is inside the book, and I'm just going, oh, this is not good. Whatever this place was, this is not good. Somebody's taking kids' stuff and leaving it here, So I just took off, and I found my way home eventually. And after that, a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times, I went out there trying to find it again. I couldn't leave it alone. And I never found it again. I have no clue where I had been or where it was. I just never found it. But it stuck with me because it kind of made me wonder if it lent some credence to that concept of a man in the woods. You just never know.